Hello everyone, welcome back to another video, and today I want to talk about the betting markets for the 2024 presidential election. Make sure to hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and make sure to comment down below. And so pretty much, guys, if we look at PolyMarket, we can see right here, Donald Trump is at 56% betting odds to win the presidency at Biden's 38%. This is a stark contrast to when Biden was leading Trump by about 10 points in the betting average, literally just about a month ago. So Trump has taken quite a significant leap here and has made ground in the betting markets in Nevada, Arizona, Georgia, and North Carolina. If we were to basically fill this out on an electoral map, pretty much basically all of the major states that Donald Trump won in 2020 would basically be, pretty much safe in his column. Even Texas, Florida, Iowa, all these states are long gone. These states in the betting markets were competitive in 2020, but, people were proven to be pretty wrong about those. And I think people kind of see the writing on the wall. Everyone is basically certain on these Democratic states as of right now. What I'm actually going to do is states that have over a 90% chance, I'm actually going to mark them down as safe. So we'll remove New Mexico from that. We'll be looking at some other states. Texas is in the safe column as of right now. So we'll be going through these. South Carolina above that. Ohio is above that. So looking pretty solid. And then everything that is basically between 60 and 90, or we'll basically do 70 to 90 as likely. So right now, North Carolina would be considered likely. Virginia is actually right below that. It's at 87% chance at going to Biden. New Mexico, as of right now, if we were to look at it, 87% chance for going to Biden, similar to Virginia. Minnesota is 83% chance, so that is in the likely Democratic column. If we go to New Hampshire, 78% chance for going to Biden as well. Maine at large is actually pretty confident for Trump, believe it or not. So that's actually going in the safe column. We'll be giving Trump the second congressional district. And as of right now, looking at Nebraska, that betting market will probably actually just give Trump the Nebraska's second congressional district as of right now, based on the percentage being so high there. And so that basically leaves us with the swing states. If we see Georgia's right below the 70 mark, that puts it in the lean category. If we look at Arizona, 61% chance, 62% right here. So those are all lean. And if we look at the Rust Belt, all of the states below 60% would essentially be considered tilt states in the betting markets according to my metrics. And so that would actually put all of these states in the tilt Democratic column. And that actually ties the election at 269 electoral college votes to Joe Biden's 269. This is a very plausible scenario that could actually happen if Democrats get really decent turnout, within. What's very interesting is that if Democrats do get really good turnout in the Northeast and, barely hold on to those Rust Belt states once again, while Trump improves with Hispanics in a place like Georgia, Arizona, Nevada, and improves with African Americans, if he does better in the Sun Belt, but doesn't do as good with white voters, white suburban, white college educated voters in the Rust Belt, this could be a possibility that happens. Now, the likeliness of this happening is not zero. It's definitely like about a 20-30% chance, but I think that as of right now, Donald Trump is probably favored to win all three Rust Belt states, and by way more than even like a tilt margin. I'm just using the margins this way to kind of classify the states, just so you guys can have an idea in terms of likeliness of where everything is going. Because just because Minnesota has a 80 something percent chance going Democrat doesn't mean it's going to be a D plus 70 margin. That's not what people are thinking. It's just the betting average. So I wanted to display it for you guys on a map where it made more sense. But just to clarify, in 2020, states like Iowa and Ohio were in the tilt column in the betting averages. Texas and Florida, even Florida was actually at one point in the lean Democratic column in betting averages, even in the tilt Democratic column. Arizona was essentially, probably lean. Maybe Nevada was lean. Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania were all likely. Minnesota was safe back then. Virginia was completely safe back then in the betting markets. New Hampshire was as well. You could even say that Nebraska's second would probably be given to Joe Biden. as of right now. And Georgia was the only one. These two were the only two that Donald Trump still had kind of an advantage in. You could maybe say that Georgia was possibly leaning the betting aggregates, and maybe North Carolina was still there. But the betting markets essentially looked something like this. This was basically the toss-up map for the betting markets. Joe Biden exactly at 270, but Donald Trump was sitting at 226 electoral college votes. He basically had to run the entire table here, and possibly even Nevada would have been in the likely Democratic category. And you could have possibly even seen Arizona been there. So you would have had like Joe Biden 290 in the betting markets, a couple years back. Now it's 290, 287 because of redistricting and the new census giving him three less electoral votes than last time. So, but effectively, this was the battleground map in the betting odds. You had Iowa, Ohio leaning in a certain way, possibly even in the tilt column. Even at one point, Iowa and Ohio were actually leading for Joe Biden in the betting averages all the way back in like early 2020, mid 2020. So just goes to show you that the betting markets are not necessarily the most accurate. However, I did want to do a video on them because I felt like it was important to update you guys on the latest data from the PolyMarket, markets as a whole. And, it does show how divided everybody is on the race. Everyone seems to be pretty divided on this presidential election in terms of the results, but compared to how the betting markets looked before, and Donald Trump not being favored in those betting markets beforehand, and now he's leading it by around, I'd say he's leading by around 18 percentage points, which a month ago he wasn't even leading by that much. And if we look at the Senate, that's a completely different thing because Republicans are 73% favored to control it. They are expected to flip Montana. Ohio is close, and West Virginia at this point is not even competitive in either any of these states either. But Arizona, people are very confident that Gallego's going to win. People are somewhat confident that Jackie Rose is going to hold on in Nevada. People are very confident in Tammy Baldwin's reelection. People are confident in, Alyssa Slotkin pulling this out. People are extremely confident on Casey pulling this out. I'd actually probably bet on Casey if I actually could. Minnesota, basically, everyone's confident on that. Same thing for New Mexico. So the Senate on the betting markets is looking a little bit worse, for Republicans, and the presidency is looking weird. However, the lead in Pennsylvania is actually shrinking for Joe Biden. So you actually could see Donald Trump take the lead in the Pennsylvania betting markets. As of right now, there's $193,000 bet on Pennsylvania and $185,000 bet on Pennsylvania on the Democratic side as of right now, and you see other is around 48,000. So this is going to be a close race in terms of betting odds and things like that. So we will actually see what happens. I'm actually curious to see like what would Minnesota actually look like if you were to put like 100. Yeah, look at the return on Minnesota. Like that is crazy. And I have Minnesota going to Trump right now. So that would be, imagine you put down like $1,000 on this and it gives you a $5,000 return. Like that is absolutely insane. And even like New York, like what happens if you put down, or no, not for Joe Biden, but for like Trump, what would happen? Oh man, if you were to bet like like $5,000 on New York, you would make like basically half 100 grand. And if you bet like 10,000, you'd make like 54. So that's actually nuts. California betting odds must be hilarious. If you put like $10, you make, if you put 1,000, you make like $13,000. That's insane. That is actually pretty crazy. I'm not gonna lie. That is actually nuts. If I had to bet today, I'd for sure put money on Georgia. I'd for sure put money on North Carolina. I'd even put money in Nevada. Not as much as Georgia and North Carolina, but I would definitely put money in Nevada at this point. I would for sure put money. Arizona, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, New Hampshire, though, Maine at large, Nebraska second, New Mexico, Virginia. These are the states that I could put in consideration to bet money on. And again, guys, do not listen to what I'm saying. Please do not follow my advice, because I'm not going to be responsible for anybody losing any money. However, I personally would put money on North Carolina, would put money on Georgia, would put money on Nevada at this point in time. I would not tell you to put money on Iowa and Ohio, because your returns would not be great. Like if you were to put money on Ohio for Trump, if you put like $100, you're gonna make like $12. Like you'd have to put like $50,000, and actually that would actually net you a loss there, which is pretty interesting. Your potential return would actually be not that great. Like your return would not be great. If you put like 5,000, you'd only make like a couple $100. Like it wouldn't be anything like insane. If you were to put money on Pennsylvania, it's the exact same thing. Like it barely nets you anything. So it'll net you something depending on like what you have, but it's not gonna net you a whole lot of money. The one state that I may put, to bet on, that I would just, go out on a limb, is probably Minnesota. Like if we get closer to the election, I see that Donald Trump could potentially seriously have a chance. I may put down 5,000 on it maybe, but that's, I don't know. Like I don't even know. That would be a great return, but I don't even know about that. But anyways, guys, that's pretty much it for this quick analysis. It is very, very competitive. A lot of people think the race is going to be close, which I could see why people think that. However, my projection currently has Donald Trump winning this race with 328 electoral college votes to Joe Biden's 210 electoral college votes. And so that's kind of where I'm sitting at right now with the election. And so if you guys did enjoy this video, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, make sure to go ahead and follow the Twitter and join the Discord in the description down below. And I will see you guys very, very soon.